Hi, I'm Sara Moise from Mythos, and I'm here with Amber Fetterolf from the Bucknell University to talk about being a super user in Mythos. We're here at the ADRP conference, and we're presenting together with Mythos and Bucknell tomorrow on their incredible, effective, and efficient use of Mythos. Amber and I have also been talking a lot recently about site design and sort of taking Bucknell's Mythos instance and their reports to the next level. So why don't we talk a little bit about what we've been discussing lately? Tell me a little bit about what you've learned in site design.
Perfect. So since we've started talking, you actually helped to find some solutions that we were looking for. So last year was our first year within Mythos, and we were trying to figure out a layout where we could have the cover letters from our leadership members as one of the features for some of the reports that we have. And then we wanted to divide the information out depending on the units or the areas of focus.
So very variable.
Yes. And so now with the new site design features, the page layouts, we're able to do that.
Excellent.
Yes. So our donors are going to be so happy this year with that.
Good. Well, and a 1 year implementation time, or 1 year since implementation time, that's a pretty short time to become a super user in Mythos.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you learned, what you learned, and maybe what skills you already had behind the scenes that helped you feel really comfortable getting to know Mythos.
Okay. Well, I will say one of the biggest parts of our success was the team here at Mythos. There was so much support, and customer relations were wonderful. We had such a great relationship with Priscilla and Andrea. Any questions that we had, they got back to us right away, which is, it's huge.
You're great.
I know. I think there's a fan club for the two of them somewhere.
I remember.
Yeah. So that was really key to our success. But then also having some of the historical knowledge that I have about the reports, we were able to figure out exactly what we wanted, and we could use the tools to help build that.
Excellent.
And so it was just figuring out what our goals were, and then we could build it from there.
Would you describe your reporting process before Mythos as complex in comparison perhaps to other institutions you've talked to?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was very complex. And it took a lot of time.
Yeah.
And we didn't have an efficient process either.
Yeah, well, and beyond that, I was sort of getting at you had to understand your process in a really intricate way, have really intricate data.
Yes.
And that I think sets you up really well to walk into Mythos.
It does. Yes, we had to, so I know our data in and out. I can look at our file and say, there's an issue with this. We don't have these 20 reports or these 20 donors or these 20 funds. And so knowing our data in and out really helped with our success.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah. And so a little bit of a data head, a little bit of a nerd.
Love it.
Tell me where your creative side came in, because we've talked a lot about site design and assets in Mythos.
Yeah. So I have a history as a teacher.
Oh, there it is.
So that's where my creative side started. And so when I was leaving the teaching world, I started looking for careers where I could have that creative outlet, and stewardship just happened to be that.
Yep.
So I could talk about the impact of the donor's gift, and I could use the tools that we had to be creative and paint a picture for the donors where they could see the true impact of their gift.
I find our profession is very much a balance, right?
Yes.
You have to be a little left brain, a little right brain, or have both of those skill sets on your team to really do the thing, right? The best way, all the way through. And that data is so important to making the creativity come to life. And you really do, right? Those two have to talk to each other. Yeah. Tell me a little bit, you said you can look at a report and understand what's missing. How did you get there, right?
Well, I know I had to learn.
It
took a lot of time learning, figuring out our funds. As we would gain more funds, I would learn a little bit more about them. Also, I think just years of working with it too. That helped a lot too.
Time and experience.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there is so much in that digging in and understanding, but also the connecting of the dots.
Yes.
Right. That I know that this piece of data or this field in my spreadsheet means that this should look a certain way.
Yes.
And those two things aren't connecting. There's something wrong, and you figure out how to spot those things.
Yes, absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then tell me about using that variable data to do some cool stuff in Mythos. What have you learned?
Well, I've learned it's possible. So that's one thing. I've learned that it's possible, but if you have your data set up correctly, then you can build formulas and figure out instances where certain things will appear because that instance is in your data.
Right.
So, which is huge because it's an easy process because you just upload your data and then your finalized report is beautiful.
Right. It makes decisions for you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I do also love to play with the variability in there. I think we can do some really cool stuff. Like you said, variable dean's letters or leadership letters, depending on the audience. I've even done some development officer messages, right, that are specific to that person's portfolio. And so it feels like the report is coming from them, even though that's a highly segmented group. Any of those characteristics that you can rely on.
Well, right. And then the one thing I would say too is with higher ed, we're always trying to figure out ways to do more with less.
Yep.
So it fits right into that. So if we have those variables, then we can build stronger reports.
Yep.
And it's not taking all of our staff's time and energy. And then we can focus on other stewardship initiatives that we want to work on.
I say it all the time, right? You might as well take these rote processes and automate them to the degree that is appropriate and authentic and let you think strategy, right? Let you sit in portfolio reviews and think about those high-level, high-net worth individuals and cool stuff you can do with them.
I nerd out about the donors. I get it.
We have so many cool opportunities. I was talking to someone yesterday who works with high net worth recognition and talking about it's not just letters in a building anymore, right? Now we're talking to artists and creative installations that engage the community, engage other donors. And I thought that's exactly where we're going with tech, right?
Absolutely.
We're looking at these little pieces of data that we can build together. And it's not just a blanket report anymore. Now it's a cool, engaging online experience.
Yes. Yeah. Which is 10 years ago, that's a lot of what my job was. Being able to figure out ways where you can make several donors feel really special and important. And the impact was huge. So having ways or a tool that you can do that now is huge.
Yeah, and not just several, right? But hundreds, if not thousands,
that
are happily taken care of, personalized, right? Engaged individually. And then you can even do that more next level creative stuff with your high level folks.
And that's where we're at too. We're thinking about the next steps and how we can steward our donors.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So right now, one of our buildings, we're coming up on one of the anniversary of the building being built. And so we're figuring out a way that we can honor some of those founding donors and celebrate the building and share some of the stewardship pieces that are happening in that building.
Cool. Excellent. And I anticipate you could use Mythos for a little bit of that collecting of information. Oh, cool. Tell me a little bit more about what you're thinking.
Yeah. So we're going to highlight some of the student stories from the building. We'll also highlight some of the faculty members that are using the space. What's unique about this building is it's a management building, but there's also connection with our art and art history department. So we're going to highlight that cross-discipline nature in the building as well too. And the plan is that we'll build it all within Mythos.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I think that's where our donors are headed, right? They are not so, this is the school I graduated from, this is what I support, this is the only thing I care about, right? They want to see that interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary work, that their dollars are impacting students in their whole lives, right? Faculty members across the spectrum.
Absolutely.
That's really, it's a really interesting and creative opportunity for us in donor relations.
Yeah, I think so too. That's just it. Our donors, they want to see the true impact that it's having on the students. And so if we can find ways or use a tool that will help us to share those stories, then we're better off.
Absolutely. And I think donors at every dollar level, right?
Yes.
It's not anymore that I don't expect any engagement at even $1 or $100 or $1,000 because I recognize my place in the system, right? Our dollar level donors, your millennial donors, all of them today expect deeply engaged personal impact.
And that's one thing with Mythos, we can easily tier the stewardship. So we can focus on all of our donors and it's manageable because you can tier the different levels that you're stewarding at.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about data segmentation, right? We've been talking about that here. That's part of where Mythos and that variability becomes so simple, right? I mean, your fundraisers are segmenting their data left and right.
Right.
You should be engaging those segments, right? In the same capacity.
Yes. Yeah, it's a tool that we can all use.
Yeah.
Not just the stewardship team, but the fundraisers. We're able to share analytics with the fundraisers. We can add them as collaborators, so they can see everything that we're sending to the donors, which is huge because before we were working in a silo and it was so hard to share anything with them.
Yeah, I mean, it interrupted your process, right? Slowed everything. Nobody wants it to go out later.
No.
Right? But they want their hands in it. They want to know it's happening right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or we would have to send them to our database that's over here. And then you were answering 20 questions afterwards to help get them to navigate to the information.
To find it.
Yes.
Well, and I've seen even some communications teams, right, get into Mythos, and instead of emailing you all the time, I need a student quote, I need a faculty quote, right? They're going in and finding it themselves because you tagged it.
Exactly. Well, and that's so our communications team, they are one of our biggest partners. And so they've been able to use some of the information that we've been collecting, and by tagging the information, they can just sort on the information, they can search for it on their own, and they can access it at any time.
Total self-serve. Taking you, the middleman, out of it. Yes. Let's save your time for more important things.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah. So you mentioned that you have a great relationship with your communications team. They're obviously a deep and important partner in our work in donor relations. Tell me about what that looks like at Bucknell.
Okay, happy to. So there's one staff member in particular who is kind of our contact, but we work with so many different members of the team. And so what they'll do is, for our relationship, we work together on crafting some of the messaging and some of the text as well too.
Oh, nice.
So we have a strong partnership there. They also come to us for ideas on donors or students that we could highlight.
Oh, you're lucky.
I know. I know. Well, and so they also have additional pieces too, where we talk about the endowments and some of the funds. And so they always come to our team for a special fund that we could highlight. And they want to know more about the impact. And then, I mean, this is our job. We get to talk about it to them.
That's awesome.
So,
so that's really interesting, that collaborative environment. I feel like we don't get that a whole lot in higher ed. There's often these silos that we talk about where you live in your lane, I live in my lane. Content has to belong to me, so I have to craft it.
Right.
Like, you don't have the resources to do editorial work.
No.
Often I find I'm using the comms team as a graphic designer, and that's it. Tell me a little bit about that sort of, are there other services that they provide to you in that realm?
Yes, they do. So they actually do help with some of the graphic design as well too. They, so for our reports, they'll check out all of the branding. They make sure that we're right in line with all the branding. They'll give us images that we can use. They'll create different images for us too, which is so nice because before we were in Mythos, half of the battle was finding photos to include. And the images are beautiful shots of campus. So the donors feel like they're right there sitting on the quad. Enjoying a cup of coffee with the students.
Well, and so great to have a resource you can go to and say, oh, I thought of a thing. I need an asset, right? I need you to create something or find me something to bring my vision to life.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so you mentioned your reports are beautiful.
They are.
Clearly that has to do in some part with your communications team.
Yes.
So that's a great working relationship. Anything extraordinary or unique about the way that relationship works or that you've built over time? Tips and tricks for other folks.
Yeah, so I think what's helped so much with our two teams and the relationships is we really did break down a lot of those silos. We had a lot of conversations. We partnered with them. They partnered with us as well too. If we have anybody that's trying to look for information and they're going about it the wrong way, we pull them in right away.
Nice.
So we figured out ways that we could partner together.
It seems like very intentional work to sit down and say, this is where our challenges are. Let's work on them.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And what we all should be doing as humans anyway.
I know.
Yeah,
Crazy idea.
I know. That's really great. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time, Amber. I'm really looking forward to your session at ADRP tomorrow with Bucknell about the incredible efficiencies you've saved with Mythos. This has been a wonderful Mythos Stories podcast. I'm Sara Moise from Mythos, your Chief Stewardship Advocate.